Hello guys and welcome. I hope that you're having a good day or good morning or good evening. My name is I play 4K, AK I play 8K, AK I play 16K, or UHDking. During this video today I'm going to show you Half-Life 2 running for the first time 16K resolution or 133 megapixels, and how I achieve that 16K resolution. I'm using the 8K resolution native screen plus Nvidia DSR method. This is the first time with Nvidia DSR method, 16K resolution. And why I decided to do so? Because I compared the Nvidia DSR method with the third-party DSR method that I was using back in 2016 when I was recording Half-Life 2 on 4 Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture and SLI, 4-way SLI. And I find out I also recorded the 2 GTX 1080 Ti and SLI, 2 GTX 1080 in a laptop, 1 GTX 1080 in a laptop, 2 Titan XPs in SLI, 2 Radeon Pro Duo with 4 Fuji XT AMD Radeon GPUs. And I find out, guys, that approach of 16K resolution through the DSR, third-party DSR, is not as good as Nvidia DSR method, because DSR is equal digital super resolution. So pretty much it enables you to your 8K resolution to bring 16K resolution, your 4K resolution to bring to 8K resolution, and see how it's going to do. So pretty much it's going to force your screen to render that amount of pixels. It will take that amount of performance of your PC, and then it's going to downscale when it's going to output the signal to the cable to your TV. It's going to, or to your screen, it's going to downscale that to resolution, to the maximum supported resolution of your screen. And what I find out, guys, that my VRAM utilization is like below 7,000 megabytes during the third-party DSR method, 16K resolution. And the system RAM also is not as great as you're going to see during this video. And I believe that Nvidia company knows exactly how to emulate the 16K resolution display, because this is the company that producing this video cards, the hardware, and it knows exactly how to write drivers for it. And it's writing the drivers to support any type of monitor, so it's know exactly what it is. So this is what we're gonna do. And why I'm using the old school E5-2697 V2 CPU that from 2013 used to cost $2,500, comes with 12 physical cores and hyper-threading technology. Hyper-threading technology brings additional 12 virtual cores, so total 24 virtual cores in Windows, or 24 threads in Windows and Linux. Well, why I'm using that? Because I decided to go ahead and show you how the game looks like 16K resolution on my workstation. This is my workstation in 2020, designed to render 8K resolution videos and do some 3ds Max rendering. 3ds Max rendering utilizing all the way above 100 cores, so it's utilizing all the 24 virtual cores to 100%. And 8K resolution video encoding, I'm using the FFmpeg++ software that I'm developing right now, that pretty much going to encode any resolution all the way to 16K resolution videos, and it's also utilizing all the way to 140 cores at the moment. So this is why I'm taking advantage with the CPU. So this is a workstation. Keep in mind that I'm going to show you Half-Life 2 running 16K resolution on my gaming PC, but this is going to be a workstation. It's nice to see how it's going to perform on i9-9900K at 5.3 gigahertz per each core with Titan RTX, my gaming PC from 2019-2020. And also I'm going to show you guys 2 Titan RTXs in SLI, probably on this workstation in Half-Life 2 16K resolution, and on my gaming PC, because as again, Half-Life 2, I took it as a benchmark since 2016, and I'm benching all the extreme expensive hardware on it. And let's go ahead and bench it, because 16K resolution, not every day we are watching that, right? So as again, this is the first 16K resolution that I believe emulated properly, and as again, it's using Nvidia DSR method, not the third-party DSR method, not like third-party DSR method that I used for DirectX 9 API DSR. It was a German or Japanese developer. it doesn't work like that, because the VRAM utilization, let me show it to you. The VRAM utilization right now, as you can see, it's almost 11,000 megabytes, which is 11 gigabytes. Okay, and when I'm using the third-party DSR method, my VRAM utilization never go above 7,000 megabytes, and it doesn't make no sense. And FPS also going to be a little bit higher when I'm going to use his third-party DSR method when I'm using the Nvidia DSR method. So I believe that Nvidia DSR method emulates exactly how it should be, 16K resolution, because Nvidia has a name, and it doesn't want to bring that name into the dirt. Hopefully, guys, I make sense to you. So this is how small the menu is. I'm using the Windows magnifier tool, 700%, as you can see at the right top corner. Let me bring the option, video. So I'm going to show you guys 15,360 pixels by 8,640 pixels. Okay, and it's saying native, but what it is, my desktop resolution is also set at 16K resolution, because I'm running it, as you can see, in a window mode, and somehow the Nvidia DSR doesn't want to run Half-Life 2 in a full screen mode, so it's running in the window mode. And in the full screen mode, it's kind of like green lines, gray green all over my screen. So it doesn't matter when you're running Windows 10, because Windows 10 is using DirectX API anyways to render anything under the Windows 10, any Windows. So it's still using the same environment, which is direct 3D surface, and it's rendering this game under DirectX API. Hopefully, guys, this makes sense. So 15,360 pixels on our width and 8,640 pixels on our height, 133 megapixels to be exact, rounded. The number rendered in real time. Everything will be maxed out. Go ahead and grab yourself your favorite drink. The best drink will be tea and a lemon. Try to drink it for 3 months. Try to avoid any soda, any alcohol for 3 months. It's going to clean you up, guys. You're going to be like a fresh, like a brand new. Your brain will start thinking. You will feel so healthy. And also try to walk every day in about like 1 hour. Just walking, plain walking, and breathing and thinking. It's a great idea to put the self-development audiobook, and let's say in English, and learn 2-in-1, language and the information, if you're not native language speaker. Keep that in mind. So everything will be maxed out, as again, exactly how I was running 4 Titan X Maxwell GPU architecture, 2 GTX 1080 Ti, and SLI 2 Radeon Pro Duos with the 4 AMD Fuji XT GPUs and Quad Crossfire. I'm going to put those videos in the video comments for you to check out. Go ahead and check it out, or in the end of this video. But field of view will be at 90, as you can see. So pretty much everything maxed out. Alright. So this is, I'm going to apply that. This is how we're going to run. And now I'm going to go ahead and load the game. I'm going to load the point insertion, just like exactly like I was benching the Half-Life 2 on the different hardwares and different PCs since 2016. Can he get me? I don't think so. Look how small the subtitles right there. The game is amazing, guys. As you can see, it's looking great. 16K resolution. Especially if you're playing it in a window mode, you want to make sure that your desktop resolution set to 16K resolution as well at 100% scale. This is very crucial. Make sure the 100% scale, because if it's not going to set to 100% scale, sometimes your VRAM utilization is not going to be correct. Hopefully this makes sense. It's beautiful, guys. The game looks amazing, and things that you don't see when you're not playing above 8K resolution. Let me show it to you. You don't see all of these details from this distance. They're going to be all blurred out because those pixels are not going to be visible, because your screen is going to be so small. But over here you can see everything, especially when you're playing 16K resolution, 8K resolution native plus 16K resolution DSR, as again, it's emulating 16K resolution. It's forcing your computer to render that. It takes the resources to render 16K resolution, and it's rendering every single detail, and then it's downscaling. So especially if you're playing it on a big TV like 75 or 85 inches, you're going to have so much fun, like 70, 80 inches or even above. like 90 inches, 120 inches. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let me exit the zoom. It's beautiful. The details is amazing. Like when you play in 4K resolution, this dude right here, the texture on him probably is like 500 pixels by 500 pixels, right? Or maybe 1K by 1K, but I think 500 pixels by 500 pixels maximum, right? The character texture. So when you play in 4K resolution, you probably not going to fit the whole texture details into this character, because it's going to be like 200 something by 200 something on 4K resolution screen. But over here we're fitting every single detail of his texture. Hopefully guys this makes sense. As again, I'm coming in real time. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Check out my third-party DSR 16K resolution adventure in Half-Life 2. Keep in mind that I'm also going to record third-party DSR adventure in Half-Life 2 on this system as well as on my gaming system, just to find out what was the difference, third-party DSR versus the Nvidia DSR. But Nvidia DSR I trust 100% more than any third parties, because Nvidia is, again, they creating the video cards. They know exactly how to write the drivers and they're doing a great job. Right now, as you can see guys, my Titan RTX is overclocked. Okay, a maximum safe overclock on the air, and I'm running dual fan design by Nvidia cooling solution stock. Didn't modify that yet, and I also did not replace the Nvidia thermal compound paste. I'm using the stock manufacturer Nvidia thermal compound paste. I can replace it with the liquid metal to make it great, to make a better temperature. And I can set my Titan RTX in water and I can overclock it further. There is a possibility. But as again, water cooling on a single video card maximum gonna bring you 6-7 FPS. That's it. You're not gonna reach above that. So it's gonna give you additional 10%. And if you believe that investing at least $300 as minimum to get a water cooling setup is enough for 10%, then go ahead and do it. For me, I would better save this money towards a future CPU, top of the line CPU, or towards the next video card. Hopefully guys this makes sense. No TVs in 2021. Sorry amigos, porque es?
I told you they'd be coming for us next.
Unfortunately we cannot. Alright, throw it outside of the window. But look at this, above 150, 160, 170. Today I'm recording this video with Nvidia Shadowplay technology software. It's running on the same computer and consuming my video card resources. So please add 4 FPS to the FPS counter. Exactly 4 FPS. This is how it was during my test. So 4 FPS to the FPS counter without the recording. I'm waiting for my 8K resolution thing going to come back to me. It was a mistake. They did a mistake. So from China they repaired the second unit, so it's coming. Hopefully I'm going to record with 8K resolution external device and not with the Shadowplay, so it's going to record without losing any FPS. It's going to be 8K resolution recorder that I was using since 2016, that I purchased on eBay. It's from a small Chinese company, but they doing some nice expensive tech. Hopefully I'm going to show it to you. But as again, just add 3-4 FPS to the FPS counter. At least when you're recording with the Nvidia Shadowplay, you don't have the line breaking of your screen. It's filtering that through the Nvidia algorithms, which is amazing. Look, it's running so fast, guys, above 200 FPS. This is unbelievable right now going on over here, to be honest with you. All the way above 100 FPS. Half-Life 2, it's a Steam version, and I just downloaded this version from Steam, and I downloaded in the end of 2020, in like December 30th 2020. Today is January 2021, and keep in mind that I recorded a lot of videos, guys, on the Xeon E5-2697 V2 CPU for those low budget folks. This video is dedicated to you, and pretty much I'm wrapping up right now this content with this CPU, and I covered a lot of content on the Xeon E5-2697 V2 CPU, so go ahead and check it out. Covered
Dr. Freeman,
with all kind of video games, all kind of softwares that you can use it as the 3D artist or graphics designer or gamer. So it's a great material. Look at this. See that texture right there? That raster texture on that bridge. Let me zoom in for you guys. See, look at these details. You're not gonna see these details of this raster texture if you're gonna play at 4K resolution from this distance. It's just not going to be there. It's just not going to render this amount of pixels because the 3D object at that distance will be probably like 100 by 100 pixels, and if you're playing it on 4K resolution, okay, and 1080p even maybe like 75 or 50 by 50 pixels, and it means that it's stretching right now the texture and it's not loading all the details. Hopefully guys this makes sense. So I'm about to go ahead and try the anti-aliasing real quick because the Titan RTX can probably do that. In terms of our FPS, we're above 100 FPS, and in terms of our VRAM, we're still below 11,000 megabytes of our VRAM usage, as you can see at the left top corner. So pretty much we're not even utilizing 11 gigabyte of VRAM, and Titan RTX can go all the way to above 24,000. My CPU utilization is healthy. I never saw it at 90% during the gameplay. That means that we don't need additional CPU cores. We're healthy on that. And GPU utilization was above 95%, which is nice. So healthy GPU utilization as well. Keep in mind guys that Half-Life 2 supporting 2 Titan RTXs and SLI, so it's supporting 2-way SLI all the way to 4-way SLI, and I'm going to show you 2 Titan RTXs and SLI probably even on this workstation guys. It's going to be a second benchmark, but as again I'm going to show you on my gaming PC. And gaming PC, this CPU guys is like 4 gen Intel Core i7 CPU cores. And my gaming PC from 2019-2020 was i9-9900K, overclock at 5.3 gigahertz, and that CPU is 9 gen of Intel Core i7 kind of frequency CPUs technology, and so 5 gen more from this gen, and each next gen is about as minimum 3% performance boost, 3-5, so it's like in the middle. So let's take it minimum 3%. So 5 gen, it's 15% of CPU boost in terms of the performance, and it should be like that. That 3% is not theoretical value. The 3% of the next gen CPU boost is the real value from my benchmarks, guys, from the real live scenarios. So that means 15% boost just CPU. If my i9-9900K will be running same frequency as 2697 V2 as this enterprise CPU, but keep in mind that it's running 5.3 gigahertz, which is 2000 megahertz or 2 gigahertz additional more per CPU core. So I'm assuming 20% of CPU boost. So I'm assuming that we're going to boost up here probably to 200 FPS. But it's nice to have a look how it's going to do it. But I think that 20% of the CPU frequency per frequency and higher frequency by 2 gigahertz per core will boost it up 20% at least in terms of our FPS. Hopefully guys this makes sense. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm going to real quick go ahead and let me zoom in. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button. You're watching the unique content. This is not those copycats that copying each other. Some of them even showing copying some other information and showing the fake videos, but over here it's a real deal. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to enable the anti-aliasing all the way to 8 times, guys. If it's going to freeze, it's going to freeze. If it's not, then we're going to continue benching. Alright, but as again, don't forget to subscribe for more great videos and smash that like button. Let's go ahead and do it. Wish me luck. Let me zoom out. Keep your eye at the left top corner. 16K with 8 times anti-aliasing. It jumped to 22,607 megabytes of our VRAM usage. So 23 gigabytes of our VRAM usage. The system RAM usage below 10,000 megabytes. So it's still a healthy VRAM usage. I'm just curious, and wow, and it's going to boost up the GPU load as well to 98 and maybe even higher than 98. Let me real quick, guys, and zoom in to show you that yes, indeed, it took that resolution. Yes, indeed, took this resolution, and this is how we're rocking with 8 times MSA, guys. This is very heavy stress. I never tried that before, but today we're gonna try it and we're gonna see exactly what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and load as again from the beginning real quick. The point insertion, the save file, and just like we were testing all the time. Look at this, the FPS is went, oops, he got me, to like 50. It was below 50 for a couple seconds, but above 50, that's great, almost 60 FPS average. As again, keep in mind that you gotta add 4 FPS because I'm recording in real time on the same computer. So plus 4 FPS. That's beautiful, guys. 60 FPS. Still very playable, and latency delay below 20 milliseconds. So latency delay is also a playable status right here. Almost great playable status. If it would be like 90 FPS, it would be great playable status, and latency delay would be like 12, 10 milliseconds. And amazing playable status will be below 10 milliseconds. At that milliseconds value at the left top corner, this is the latency delay. This is what I'm talking about for those newcomers. Look how beautiful it's looking. It just all the details in 16K resolution. It just, wow, guys. I think they took the textures on these buildings from New York, the part of the Russian place or the Russian stores, because it looked like that. Baltic Cafe, souvenirs in New York, United States. And the game looked like almost about the Russia in like 2030. And maybe this is how it's going to be, guys. Go ahead and, this is amazing classic game, and yeah, the game is beautiful. Look at this detail, 16K resolution with the anti-aliasing, guys. It's just like wow. Let me tell you, everything is, there's eye candy everywhere, and I believe that 16K resolution, guys, will be the last resolution that PC world will see before the PC gaming will die, and only like those enthusiasts like a Nintendo, Sega enthusiasts that's still playing the Sega 16-bit consoles will be playing that, but most of you guys will be playing the mobile devices such as iOS or iPads and Android. So that's why I believe that iOS devices by Apple will take the top in PC gaming, and the comfort of your pocket device, you can connect the HDMI dongle, you can play it, you can connect to your TV through the Bluetooth or through some other cables, and you can enjoy it and get yourself a gamepad, pretty much convert your iPhone or iPad into the console, and it has more than that ability. So this is what I see. I see the PC gaming will be dead in 2025/2027, and console gaming will be dead same time, 2025, 2027. Look how beautiful everything is. This is just unbelievable, guys. 75 FPS, the VRAM utilization went below 20,000 megabytes, so it's exactly 20 gigabytes right now. But it required to play it, guys, to test it with 8 times MSAA. As you can see, 24 gigabyte of the VRAM, and I believe this is a healthy VRAM. Right now we went again back to 10,300 megabytes. Same thing was without the anti-aliasing, so I believe that this is the, I guess you don't need that. This is the healthy. You don't need the TV in 2021. What are you doing here? This is the healthy VRAM usage, guys, without the overloading some data from the VRAM into the system RAM, as you already learned if you're watching my channel since 2016 8K resolution, or even 2019. I explained to you when the VRAM is overloaded into the system RAM a lot, so you learn a lot what is going on. I'm a bad guy right now. I'm throwing out all the TVs. So this is maximum overclock on Titan RTX, which is the stock and stable. I consider this as a home safe environment, but as again, guys, repeating what I'm doing over here, you're doing it on your own risk and expenses, so please keep that in mind. In the end of this video, I'm going to show you what kind of system I was running. Like I'm going to show you CPU Z, GPU Z, MS Afterburner, some IDA 64 benchmarks. But before that, I'm just real quick going to bring the Titan RTX to a stock frequencies just to see what it's going to give us. But pretty much, guys, it's a 10% of performance boost. 10% for free. So it means that if it's going to be 70%, we're going to receive 7 FPS extra by just overclocking your Titan RTX's single Titan RTX in the MS Afterburner, which is the software overclock, without any hardware modifications. And I'm always overclocking my video cards through the software overclock, because what's the point not to do so? Because it's safe, nobody knows that video card was overclocked, and it boosting up to 7-10% of the performance for free. Beautiful. 99% of the GPU utilization, so GPU pretty much stressed completely, and maybe it's still wasting like 100 shader cores, 100 CUDA cores on TU102, which is the Turing GPU architecture by Nvidia, the GPU TU102 that located on this Titan RTX video card. There is a possibility, especially when it's going to 98%, it's probably wasting about 100 CUDA cores or 100 shader cores. But still, we are faster than RTX 2080 Ti by 256 CUDA cores or shader cores in this Titan RTX. When two of them is 512, so it's a big advantage. Two Titan RTXs versus RTX 2080 Ti and SLI. Two Titan RTXs take a great advantage, guys. 512 shader cores. This is a lot. And you cannot run 16K resolution on RTX 2080 Ti video card because you're going to overload your VRAM. You cannot run it with anti-aliasing, but you can do without the anti-aliasing, as you saw my VRAM utilization. And I believe the Titan RTX showing us the healthy VRAM utilization because it has 24,000 megabytes open for us for the usage, and we can see exactly how much we're using. Guys, pretty much UHDking.com YouTube channel covered all the information for you 8K resolution and above like nobody else before. And I covered all the excited and greatest hardware out there. So if you into the 8K resolution gaming or above, you don't want to miss it. And I was the first YouTuber that showed you guys 16K resolution gameplays. And everybody else who did it after me, they copied me, okay? And even Linus copied me, because when he showed after 6 months in 2016 after my video, 6 months after, he showed 16K resolution as he claimed the world's first, and he used the games that I used during his gameplays. So he copied completely my content, including the games that I played, but he never gave me a credit. Because he knows who's the real guy. He's afraid of me. He's sneaky and watching my YouTube channels. You can tell that Nexus Gamers and Linus is watching my YouTube channel, guys. You can tell it by their content. Every time I'm switching to something new, they immediately featuring in their videos. Because they're afraid. They know that I'm real and they're not. They're marketers. And they know if I'm going to have access to that type of finance, I'm going to dominate those guys, okay? Even if I'm fighting with YouTube and Google, because Google doesn't like the truth tellers. They like those ha, happy, and nonsense, idiotic guys that sharing some information that after 10 years or after a couple years doesn't make any sense to you when you're gonna get older. But when you're watching my videos, I'm trying to share with you so much experience, trying to put into your heads, guys, a lot of IT information, gaming, software developer, game developing, web development, graphic design, 3D modeling and animation, because as again, PC overclocking, you're receiving a lot of great information, and I'm trying to make it as unique as possible. So don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Positive comments, share it with the friends. Look how beautiful everything is looking. Look at that distance right here. If I'm gonna zoom in here, I can read it. Try to do that at 900%. Try to do that with your 4K resolution, and let me know what kind of results you probably not. Those textures probably not even going to show up. They're going to be so blurry. Alright, so what I'm gonna do real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and bring the Titan RTX. 1 second guys, 1 second. Let me bring the Titan RTX, and I'm going to bring the video card to the stock, but pretty much at 10% of the performance. You should know by now, but just in case. Let's open that window. I'm not looking to open that window. I open. Okay. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. So what we're gonna do, we're just going to. This is how it was the overclock, right? Now, right now we're going to bring it to the stock, and I'm gonna run it stock. So it was probably noisy a little bit because, as again, I'm recording in real time in the mic in the room and case is open. Single Titan RTX is okay, but when you're running 2 Titan RTXs and SLI, it's going to be so noisy. So when you're running an SLI, any video cards, I advise you to put the first CPU closer to the CPU, the first GPU, the video card closer to the CPU on water. Even if you're trying to save. And the first one, do not put the second one because it's not going to be any stress in the second one. Temperature in the second one will be low, and you're going to water cool your SLI setup, and it's going to be nice, quiet, and on a low budget. So right now it's completely stock, controlled by the driver. Let's go ahead and have a look how it's going to be at with the driver. Pretty much it's completely stock. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to go ahead and load up the same deal real quick. But believe me or not, guys, it's just 7-10%. Pretty much it's staying like in the middle, like 9% almost all the time. He's not gonna get me, guys. I'm too fast. $55, $46, $38. So I just saw. Oh, he got me. Look at this. Just saw the 36. So yeah, we lowered the FPS by a little bit, as you can see when I'm running at stock. 47. I even don't see the 50 yet when I'm working. So that software overclock, if you're going to be strategic, sometimes guys, going to help you a lot. As again, it's going to be individual video when I'm going to show you how to overclock Titan RTX. I'm going to cover everything what you need to know, and I covered a lot of video cards back in the past. A lot of people watch that, so if you're looking for that, it's going to be a great video because I'm going to explain everything what is going on while you're overclocking your video card step by step. Look at this, the VRAM utilization above 20,000 megabytes, so above 20 gigabytes. The VRAM frequency is 14,000 megahertz instead of 16,000 megahertz, so we lowered by 2,000 megahertz. And GPU frequency will be by 100% less than I was running with the overclock. 1875 right now, and it's at 80 Celsius. It's thermal throttling itself, guys. A little bit, it's still thermal throttling itself. Keep that in mind. If you don't want to thermal throttle Titan RTX, you want to run like 65. The temperature should be below 70. So this way you're not going to drop the frequency on the Titan RTX, and you can, with the overclock, you can gain above 2000 megahertz constantly all the time. But to be able to do that, you need to set at least on get a water cooling. Anything water cooling will be good to go. An extension like $70, $80, then a single pump of water cooling by Corsair, or dual pump by some other brand, another $80, so it's $150. Yeah, so around $200, but then you can run your video card to above 2000 megahertz, and when you're running 2 of them, secondary can be on air. Keep that in mind. Only the first one that's closer to the CPU, the first video card closer to the CPU should be on water, and then you can run above 2000 megahertz on each Titan RTX and SLI, and this kind of boost, this overclock and SLI will give you guys a solid, I would say 15%. It's going to be 15-20%, that type of scenario, versus the air 2 Titan RTXs and SLI. When you're running just as first one closer to the CPU on get water cooling and second still on air, it's going to give you a boost 15-20% of the in terms of the FPS, and it's going to be very close, guys, to keep great FPS no matter what game you're playing. Keep that in mind. As again, in 2020 I covered a lot of videos in 16K resolution. I'm going to upload them. Right now I'm uploading all of them. It's going to be a lot of great videos, guys. 16K resolution, a lot of classic games running on this Titan RTX video card. I'm about to wrap up Titan RTX, switching to the RTX 3090, hopefully to RTX 3090 and SLI. So go ahead and smash that like button, support me, visit my sponsors. So I'm going to do it as fast as possible. But before I'm going to do that, I want to wrap up. With the Xeon E5-2697 V2 for those folks who's looking to build this system as the all-in-one system on a low budget. As you can see, you can play games even if you're 3D artist, graphic designer, without any issues. Plus you can do the video encoding and 3D rendering without any issues and playing games. When you're playing games, the focus should go to the video card. When you're doing the 3D rendering, video encoding, the focus should go on the CPU. That's all. And this is all the formula in this algorithm that you need to know, guys. CPU for the video encoding, 3D rendering, the CPU heavy tasks, and the variables such as video card when you're playing PC games. That's all. I don't like people when they're building beautiful cases, top of the line CPU, and then they put in the RTX 3080 when RTX 3090 is available. And what they do, they playing games.
Can be slow to wake,
and they claim, and some other professional work, but what kind of professional work? They cannot even name the software. So that means that improper money investing into the PC hardware, you want to avoid that. So if PC gaming, top of the line video card, and kind of save up on the CPU, save up on the system RAM, save up on the motherboard. Power supply should be great, because power supply you're buying 10-15 years, and case should be great because you're buying the case 10-15 years. Go ahead and buy yourself a big full tower case, so it's gonna last you 10-15 years. No matter what in the future they're going to come up with, you don't have to buy a new case. Okay, this is my strategy that I was using, and strategy completely working, and strategy for the people that I'm building computers using this strategy as well, and save them a lot of money. Look at this, 90 FPS even in the corridors. So not bad, guys. So pretty much as you can see on a single Titan RTX, I showed you what it is on the 4th generation of the Intel CPUs, which is today we were running Xeon E5-2697 V2 CPU. It was running only 2 cores, 2 threads. This CPU comes with 30 megabytes of level stored cache, which is shared. That means that every single CPU core receives 15 megabytes of level stored cache. This is unheard of level stored cache, and if this game will take advantage of any of the CPU level stored cache, usually it does when it's preloading some objects, when it's loading the game, it does it, then it will take a huge advantage versus the P4, because this game was released during the Pentium 4 times, and the level 3rd cache wasn't even an option during that time on those CPUs. Only level 1 and level 2. So right now, before I'm going to store something in the system RAM, I'm going to store it in the CPU level 3rd cache, which is probably 7 times faster than DDR3 that I'm running today in quad channel. Keep that in mind. But as again, usually it's when it's loading the objects on the level, a lot of objects is loading real quick, so CPU cache can take advantage of that. But during the gameplay, probably it's not taking a lot of advantage. Keep that in mind. And I showed you the Xeon E5-2697 V2 CPU running completely at maximum possible fastest frequencies, and as again, I lowered to 2 core 2 threads because 2 core 2 threads was good enough in this game, and to be able to unlock the 34 multiplier. But just because I'm running 106 megahertz on our BCLK frequency, what happened there, I just received additional 200 megahertz boost, and pretty much I was running 3.6 gigahertz, the faster than this CPU designed to run, even with 1 core, because with 1 core the CPU is designed to run 3.5 gigahertz. With 2 cores, 3.4 gigahertz. With 3 cores, 3.3 gigahertz. And I'm running 3.6 with just 2 cores. This is amazing. So this is the system that I was running today in the middle, cooled with the Corsair H100 I RGB Pro XT. I'm going to put the link for you on Amazon to buy it as cheap as possible with my codes. This is the Titan RTX, my old school Gigabyte X79 motherboard, ultra durable 3 version 1.1 with F20 BIOS. Otherwise, with any other BIOSes on this motherboard, the CPU is not even posting. So it's very important to flash the BIOS on the CPU with some Core i7 gaming CPU, desktop CPU, before you're going to put this CPU, because this CPU was in 2013-2014 top of the line, and those 24 threads was like out of the space during that time, and requires some work to be done. But as again, on this motherboard only F20 BIOS. This is my logo and my old school logo. Those people that was watching me since 2016, 2014, they remember who's I play 4K. I play 4K was I picked up this nickname when I was running 4 Radeon R9 290s in 4K resolution back in 2012. So this is when I picked up this 2012, in the end of 2012, beginning 2013. 2 Titan RTXs. This is my gaming PC running H150i Pro Corsair 360mm water cooler, while on this Xeon I was running 240mm water cooler. And 2 Titan RTXs, that system is coming. The review is coming for you in this particular game, Half-Life 2. You don't want to miss it. Single Titan RTX and probably 2 Titan RTXs in SLI, because I'm going to wrap up that system, gaming system, as well as this workstation from 2020. I'm going to build myself a new workstation in 2021 that will feature 2 Xeons 2699 V3 CPUs, and those V3 Xeons E5s, they're hackable. You can hack the BIOS. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do that. So instead of 2.3 gigahertz per each CPU when it's running in dual socket, I will be able to run 3.4 gigahertz. This is what I'm hoping for, and it's going to be unheard of boost. I'm hoping to pretty much destroy the Ryzen 5950X that right now on Amazon selling $900 just for the CPU, just for the processor. And I got those 2 Xeons 2699 V3 CPUs for $129 each from the local e-recycle. They receive a service from the data center, so $250 cost me 2 CPUs. And in 2020, in the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, those Xeon E5-2699 V3 will cost around $129. And this CPU, Xeon E5-2697 V2 version, will cost, guys, in the end of 2021 around $79, $89. And this is the best thing what you want to get if it's going to cost $89, to buy 2 of them. Okay, and for dual socket Chinese motherboard, if you can get the Chinese motherboard below $90 and run it, is going to be a great workstation, great rendering firm, and this is my rendering firm version 1.0. Okay, otherwise get yourself V3 CPUs because they have hackable BIOS, and you can boost up, you can overclock it further, and V3 is a little bit faster because it's the next generation by 3-5% than V2. Keep that in mind. But if you have laying around somewhere X79 motherboard, just like I did from 2013, that I was running Xeon, I was running during that time in 2014 on this Gigabyte X79 UD3 version 1.1 motherboard. I was running the Core i7 4930K overclocked at 4.2 gigahertz, but unfortunately that CPU was only 6 cores, so I replaced it with the top flag 12 cores 24 threads just for the rendering purposes. Otherwise, if you're building something on X79 chipset, I advise you guys go ahead and grab yourself Xeon Xeon 1680 V2 CPU. V2 for gaming is going to be amazing, and it's highly overclockable. Not like this. This CPU is not overclockable. Multipliers locked. A lot of things are locked because this is top of the line enterprise CPU. They're not allowing for you to do that, unfortunately. If they would do that, we'll boost it up like unbelievable. Okay, guys, so this is the IDA 64 GPU benchmark when the OpenCL API benching the GPU versus the CPU. So at least we can compare how the CPU with only 2 core 2 threads versus the Titan RTX running completely stock. I benched it when it was running completely stock without the Shadowplay recording. Same thing on the memory. Somehow on the memory read, write, and copy I'm receiving pretty low when I'm running 2 core 2 threads on this CPU. When I'm enabling 4 core 4 threads or all 12 core 24 threads, my read, write, and copy values go above 30,000 megabytes. Keep that in mind. But latency delay are just the same. Okay, when I'm running CL7 on this DDR3 and my latency delay is 92 nanoseconds. When I'm running CL6, it's going to be 86 nanoseconds. But unfortunately, those type of values on the system RAM DDR3, that particular DDR3 that I'm running today, is not stable. So the stable frequency will be only 565 megahertz times 2, which is 1130 megahertz. Even below 1200 megahertz DDR3, but running in quad channel, but running completely stable without any single blue screen, completely 24/7, already running almost a year with the CL9. And I'm running today great memory. I will show it to you in a second. As again, F20 BIOS, you can download it from the Gigabyte website. 2 core, 2 threads, as again 30 megabytes level 3 cache shared, so 15 megabytes per each core. Nice. This is the cache. Motherboard, as again, from the March 19, 2014, you can download this F20 BIOS from a Gigabyte website, and this BIOS will be working on this motherboard, so you will be able to post this CPU. Otherwise, with some other BIOSes, you're not going to even post this CPU. It's just going to be black screen, like everything is dead. Keep that in mind. So update your BIOS with the i7 like 4000 series or i7 3000 series. As you can see, Titan RTX was running 16 times on my PCI Express 3.0, 16 lanes. As again, 1130 megahertz CL9 1T command, stable. Quad channel though, which is 256-bit. Dual channel is 128-bit. But quad channel in theory should be 2 times faster than dual channel, right? But no, it's not. It's 1.4 times 1.5 times. But keep in mind that quad channel, when I'm running this CPU with 12 core 24 threads or with the 4 core 4 threads, my values will be like 32,000 megabytes read, write, and copy, and this is pretty much will be as equal as DDR4 2133 megahertz CL14. This is how it's equal to. So this quad channel is still helping this DDR3 to boost it up actually. So it's 4 sticks, 8 gigabytes, total 32 gigabytes or 32,000 megabytes. This is the Titan RTX. This is how it's stocked. So memory running 7,000 megahertz times 2, 14,000 megahertz, as you saw. But I was running a 16,000 megahertz, which is 2,000 megahertz additional overclock, or 1,000 over here, but it's from 7,000 to 8,000. But as again, then you gotta multiply it by 2, 16,000 megahertz. The GDDR6 by Samsung, same memory as an RTX 2080 Ti. But only Titan RTX using 24 gigabytes and RTX 2080 Ti is using only 11 gigabytes. So RTX 2080 Ti couldn't complete the Half-Life 2 running with 8 times MSA anti-aliasing. This is the extreme possible Half-Life 2 that you ever saw, and it happened today, guys, in January 2021. Okay, and this is how the Titan RTX GPU Z looks like in stock. Let me show it to you how it's looking not in stock. So how I was running it. So I was overclocking like this. Boom. Apply that. Keep your eye. The memory from 7,000 to 8,000, and over here the pixel fill rate went from 169 to 179 gigapixels. The textual fill rate went from 508 gigatexels to 538 gigatexels, and bandwidth from 689 gigabytes per second went to 768 gigabytes per second. So this is additional turbo boost for nothing, and I advise you to do that. As again, it's home safe environment ready, but as again, if you're gonna do it, you're following on your own risk and expenses. Everything what you saw during this video. That's it, guys. This is pretty much it. Oh yeah, let me show you that my desktop was also set. 1 second, guys. My desktop was also set at 16K resolution for those naysayers, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with this video. Here we go, guys. 100% scale, 15,360 by 8,640. See that? That's it. And guys, yeah, I'm wrapping up right now with this video. I'm putting some great videos for you to check out. Go ahead and check it out, and yeah, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, positive comments. I play 4K, aka I play 8K, aka I play 16K, or UHDking. What with you today? Have a great day, stay safe, until the next times.